Very good morning to all of you. Welcome back. We are doing the accounting principles. Till now, we completed six accounting concepts, or we call accounting principles. I hope you'll understand all the principles and working hard on their part. Now, just take a quick revision on their part. What is accounting concepts all about? The accounting concepts, we done business entity concept. Business is separate from its owner. The business and businessman are two different persons. Businessman artificial, business artificial, businessman is a natural person. Then we money measurement concept, everything should record in terms of money. Accounting period, the business could not record for the entire period, so that they divide the business life into different periods, and the periods of 12 months each. When you say full disclosure, in order to find the net actual position of business, we have to record all the information should be recorded which affect the business. Materiality and the prudence. The prudence also says that playing safe. The business cannot estimate all the profits, all the uneven profits, but they estimate all the future losses. So that it's say playing safe. I hope you understand this thing. Next, we are moving through the seventh principle is a cost principle. Now, as the name suggests, we say seventh one is a cost principle. Now, what is cost principle? They say that the assets in the books are recorded at the cost price. All assets are required to be recorded in the books of account at their original cost. Now, what do you mean? Suppose, it's an important part. Suppose you purchase a machinery. You purchase a machinery which cost 10 lakh. आपने कोई मशीनरी खरीदी जिसकी अभी वैल्यू 10 लाख है. Now its market value is 12 lakh. Market value is 12 lakh. But they say this principle states that the asset in the books are recorded at the cost price, means at the original price, or the price in which you acquired. जिस कीमत पे आपने खरीदा था, तो all assets are required to be recorded in the books of account at their original cost, not at the market price. So this principle says that cost principle, so that the business actually find how much increase or decrease in the value of assets and liability. Now, normally the machinery. The value of machinery falls, but I'm giving an example here. So let's say example of land. You purchase a land which costs 10 lakh rupees, and after 3 years the land value is 12 lakh, but it can be measured in the books of account at the original cost. Now this concept provides a greater objectivity and greater feasibility because assets are recorded at their cost price, not at their market value. So chances of manipulation and window dressing is less. Now note down please, then we explain all the what is cost principle. The cost principle states that ये principle हमसे कहता है the assets in the books are recorded at the assets in the book are recorded the assets in the books are recorded at the cost price. At the cost price. Okay? In the ठीक है. All assets are required to be recorded. It means that all assets are required to be recorded in the books of accounts at their original cost. At their original cost. Now I'm dictating you. If you want to note down, you can note down. The assets in the books are recorded at the cost price. All assets are required to be recorded in the books of account at their original cost. I hope you understand. I'll give you an example. Suppose you purchase an asset, you purchase a land which costs rupees 10 lakh, and the market value of land is 12 lakh. After 2 years, or after 6 months, or after 1 year, that depends. But in the books, it should be recorded in the original cost, at the original cost, not at the market value. Now, why? Why this principle apply this? Because this concept or this principle provides a greater objectivity or greater feasibility. Because assets are recorded at their cost price, not at their market value. So chances of manipulation means nobody can say, no, value of land is 15 lakh, the chance of manipulation and window dressing in accounts are remote or less. When the chances of, we say, manipulation or chances of somebody doing fraud will be less. So that's why this principle plays an important role, because it reduces the chance of manipulation. It reduces the chances of window dressing. That's why this principle is important. I hope it's clear. Note down, if you want to note down again, why we use this principle. We use this principle because it provides a greater objectivity and greater feasibility, because assets are recorded at their cost price, not at their market value. So chances of manipulation and window dressing means गड़बड़बाजी, ठीक है, कोई झूठ नहीं बोल पाएगा. Manipulation and window dressing in accounts are less. In accounts are less. Next, we moving forward to matching concept. This one is cost. Eighth one is matching concept. Now, what is matching concept? Now, understand them. Then I will give you the meaning of matching concept. Matching concept requires that all expenses of an accounting period should be matched with the related revenue. Now, requires that this principle says that all expenses of an accounting period should be matched with the related revenue. Examples is, now let's take examples such as salary paid to employees, electricity charges, etc. should be recognized on the basis of the period instead of paying out those expenses and what it means. Suppose, let's take example. Suppose you sold goods on 1st October 19. You sold goods which is 50,000 to, you sold goods or we sold goods, suppose we sold goods, हमने goods बेचा 50,000 rupees का on 1/10/19 on credit. Obviously, we sold goods to anybody because we are dealing in goods only. So we sold goods on credit to Ram. हमने राम को एक गुड बेचे, हमने बेचे 1/10/19 को. Ram is paying money. Okay, Ram is settled his account. Ram settled his account. It means that Ram is paying money back to us on 15th November 19. On 15th November 19. Now, it means that ये event कब हुआ है? It's event take place on 1st October 19. So it's an income of 1st October, not on 15th November. And listen, this is the income of, because this event take place on 1st October 19, not on 15/11. 15/11 Ram settled his account. So this principle is there. Now, if you want to match, if you want to get on 1st October, how much you earn? So this, you sold goods to Ram. This is the income of 1st October. Or now suppose salaries paid. You have to pay salaries for October, 50,000 in total. There's a one employer whom you forget to pay salary. एक employer जिसको आप 10,000 रुपये salary pay करना भूल गए अक्टूबर की. One more employer is here जिसमें आपको 10,000 you have to pay salary. You need to pay 10,000 salary to employer, but it's outstanding. Oh, we'll refer the word outstanding. Now, outstanding salary for October. It means that total salary you need to pay 60,000. Okay. एक बंदा suppose is मोहन को आप 10,000 salaries pay करना भूल गए. Now you pay salary to Mohan on December. आपने अक्टूबर की सैलरी you paid to Mohan on December. Now this is the expense for October, not for December. Again, this is the expense for October, not for December. So that's why this matching principle says that all expenses of an accounting period should be matched with the related revenue. जो expense और income जिस periods में हुए उसी periods में इसको record किया जाए, उससे match किया जाए. Now you pay electricity bill and you have to pay electricity bill of October and you are paying the electricity bill ठीक है slightly late. in November. But this is electricity expenses of October, not for November. Yeah, you have to pay. You pay electricity bill in November, but that's outstanding. You have, okay, you forget to pay for October, or you pay slightly less. So whenever you electricity bill you are paying, it's an expense for October, not for November. So that's why this principle states that salaries of employees, electricity charges, or any expenses should be recognized on the basis of period instead of payment of those expenses. Now, one more example I'm giving you. You know that we pays accounting period. Financial is start from 1st April. The financial year start from April and so on 31st of March. Now, you purchase raw material. You purchase raw material of rupees 1 lakh on credit. On 1st Jan 19, and you are paying this amount. You are paying this money to your creditors on 1st May 19. Out is clear? Suppose you purchase raw material, आपने goods खरीदा on 1st Jan 19, and you are paying the expenses, you are paying the money on 1st May 19 because you purchased raw material credit. This is the first financial year, the next financial year is 1/4, we say 19 to 31st March 20. Now understand term carefully. First financial year is this, second financial year is this. You purchase raw material on 1st January for costing rupees 1 lakh, and you are paying this amount to your creditors. आपने किससे good purchase किया? आपने purchase किया 1/1/19 को, तो it means that ये जो expense है ये इस period का है, this financial period, not for this period, but you are paying the money. आपने जो पैसा pay किया, you pay the money on this period. So means record the terms. Now this transaction should be recorded because you require raw material for manufacturing the goods. So these expenses occur on this period, not on this period. That means this matching principle, please note down, they say that requires that all expenses of an accounting period should be matched with the related revenue of that particular period. Expenses you are paying require that all expenses of an accounting period should be matched with the related revenue. That's why this principle is important. Now, cost incurred during a particular period should be matched with the revenue of that period. Now, you know that. One more example I'll give you. You purchase a machinery. Okay, 10 lakh rupees. Now, you utilize the machinery of first year. You utilize the machinery. Machinery को काम में लाया गया in order for manufacturing the goods. Now, when you utilize manufacturing, its machinery, the value of machinery will decreases. What we call the machinery? Because why you purchase machinery first time? Why you purchase machinery? You purchase machinery to generate revenue. Now, in order when you machinery generate revenue, the value of machinery also decreases. Now, when the what is the we call when the machinery value decreases? We call it depreciation. Now, machinery you purchase machinery with the 10 lakh rupees. Now, on the machinery from particular you earn 50,000 rupees. Machinery is particular machinery आपको 50,000 का revenue generate किया. This particular machinery for this period it generates the revenue of 50,000. जो आपने goods बनाए money with the help of machinery, it generates a revenue of 50,000. But the machinery value depreciate by 10,000. Value of machinery depreciate by 10,000. So means this expenses should be managed with this one of the same period. How much machinery generated 50,000? How much depreciation it occurs? So this cost will be subtracted from the revenue of that particular period. So I hope you understand that. What is matching concept? So this term is called matching concept. Now matching concepts require that all expenses of an accounting period should be matched with the related revenue. Next part, matching concept. Next part, dual aspect. After matching concept, next part is dual aspect. This is, I think, ninth one. Dual aspect. Dual aspect principle. Now, it's a common one. It's important also. Dual, as a name suggests, double impact. Now, every business transaction has twofold effect: a debit and a credit of equal amount. Means that every transactions in the business has two aspects. That's one is debit side and one is credit side. I'm proving it out. How? Now, first note down. According to this transaction, every business transaction transactions has twofold effect. But just twofold effect: a debit and a credit of equal amount. A debit and a credit of equal amount. Okay, come on. Means every transaction has two aspects. One is debit, one is credit. Now give you example. Suppose, understand term because the part, simple part, and it's easy to understand that. If you think you are a businessman and you are doing, when you take the transaction, feel that this transaction you are doing it. That will be slightly easier for us to understand it. Now suppose good purchase on cash. Goods purchased on cash. Now you purchase goods on cash. We purchase goods on cash. When we purchase goods on cash, now listen it. We purchase goods on cash. What we get? We get goods. You purchase goods on cash for rupees 10,000. We get a goods of rupees 10,000. 10,000 के goods हमारे पास आ रहे हैं, but क्या जा रहा है? There's something is moving out. Cash, because you purchase goods on cash, so cash is moving out. Cash of 10,000. Of 10,000. Now this transaction is called the double effect. Because something is coming, something is going. For business purpose, what are we receiving? We are receiving goods. But what are you going? क्या जा रहा है? Goods. Oh sorry, cash. So that's why this transaction is called double aspect. The other thing is, you purchase machinery on cash. You purchase machinery on cash. Now when you purchase machinery on cash or you sold machinery on cash, understand term. When you sold machinery for cash, what we are receiving? We are getting cash. And what is moving out? क्या जा रहा है? Machinery. Same wise, you pay salary in cash. You paid salary. When you pay salary, it's an expense for you. And what's going on? Because you're paying salary to somebody who's your employee. And what what medium you are paying? You are paying in terms of cash. So every transaction has a double effect. Now somebody asks you, sir, suppose we sold goods on credit, then we sold because we are losing goods, but we're not getting anything. Of course, goods sold on credit, we're not getting anything. But listen, our debtor increases, and debtor is an asset, because it's not saying he will not make the payment. He will make the payment after some month because you are selling your goods on credit. So goods sold on credit, good purchase on credit itself makes the double effect, because the most important part, asset is equal to liability plus capital, which we are going to learn in next chapter. Asset, every transaction, either it affects asset or either it affects liability. Either it affects liability or either it affects capital. So means every transaction has a double effect, minimum double effect. Every transaction, any transaction which is helping in business, which occurs in business, you think about anything, it's affect the double side. You purchase raw material, either in cash or either in credit. Okay, if you purchase goods on credit, you have to pay the money. You are getting the stock, but you have to pay the money. Your creditor increases. You have to pay. Your liability increases. Of course, when you get stock, your asset increase. But similarly, If you're not making the payment till now, अगर आपने पैसा पे नहीं किया तो you have to make the payment, तो your liability also increases. It means this transaction says a double effect. So every business transaction which is for the business nature or which is for the economic event has two-fold effect, a debit and a credit of equal amount. So is clear? Note down. An example also, good purchase on cash, salaries paid in cash. Okay, next we are moving forward to, apart from 9, next is 10th one is revenue recognition principle. It's already studied on accrual basis when we study the accrual basis. This principle, 10th one is called, I think it's the 10th one, revenue recognition concept. Okay, revenue recognition principle or concept. Now, I told you this is same like accrual basis, which we already discussed with the guideline, with the assumptions. Because revenue is recognized in the period of which it is earned, not at the time of actual settlement. Now, in case of sale, now listen this carefully. Revenue is recognized. Revenue is always be recognized in the period of which it is earned, not at the time of actual settlement. I already give example. Revenue. Revenue is recognized. Revenue is recognized in the period of what? Which it is earned. Which it is earned. Which it is earned. Not at the time of actual settlement. Not at the time of actual settlement. Okay, say that. Now, what it means? Now, in the case sale, when sale is complete, or means in case service, when service is actually rendered, you promise to sold the goods on 1st October, but you are selling the goods on 1st November. So this means that when sale is complete, when he sold the good, in that period only the revenue should be recognized. Expenses are recognized in that accounting period in which they facilitate to earn the revenue. In which, now for example, I told you before also, now I prepaid rent. You pay the rent in advance. आपने rent को pay कर दिया advance में. I hope it's clear. You pay the rent in advance. Now listen carefully. Now prepaid rent. You already pay the rent. Now you pay the rent in advance. You pay the rent in advance. You know that we understand term in accounting concepts. What is prepaid rent? The rent we paid in advance. Now this expense you paid in advance, but its effect. Suppose 3-month rent you paid in advance. 3-month rent आपने advance में pay कर दिया. Now actually this expense will be recognized in 3 months, in 3 different months. So understand term means this principle says that the transaction revenue is recognized in the period of which it is earned, not at the time of the actual settlement take place. Now in case of sale, जब सेल तक सेल कंप्लीट नहीं होती, वी कैन नॉट रिकॉग्नाइज इट. जब तक सर्विस हम पूरी रेंडर नहीं कर देते, दिस प्रिंसिपल से दैट यू कैन नॉट ठीक है रिकॉग्नाइज द रिवेन्यू. रिवेन्यू इज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड ओनली व्हेन इट इज टोटली सर्विस इज एक्चुअली रेंडर्ड. नाउ सपोज वी आर हैविंग अ होटल, वी रिसीव अ रेंट. नाउ सपोज वी आर हैविंग अ होटल, वी रिसीव अ रेंट. लोगों ने एडवांस में बुक कर दिया. नाउ सपोज we own a hotel, understand term in that way, we owned a hotel, हमने एक hotel own कर रखा है. Now people, all the customers, they do prepaid booking, They done the prepaid booking. Now, in April, in the month of April, we receive the tariff of the rent of May. Means we receive the income in advance. We receive the income in advance. हमने अप्रैल में ही, ठीक है, suppose we residing in Nainital or we residing in Shimla, we residing in Goa. The people are, it's a tourist place, the people oftenly comes over there. Now, in the month of April, we receive the May booking is already full. We receive the May booking, we receive the May tariff in April only. Now, this is not an income for April. ये April की income नहीं, this is an income for May. So that's why this principle says that revenue is recognized in that period which it is earned, not at the time of actual settlement. Means you receive the tariff, 50% of the amount you receive in April, but it's not an income for April, it's an income for May. Because in May only you render the full services, when the services actually rendered. I hope it's clear. The expenses are recognized in that accounting period in which they facilitates to earn the revenue. So this is called revenue recognition principle. I hope it's clear. So revenue is recognized in the period of which it is earned, not at the time of actual settlement. Next is, we are moving forward to next part. The last one is verifiable. Next part is verifiable objective principle. Verifiable principle of verifiable objective principle. I need to check my marker first. Verifiable objective principle. Okay. Now, what this principle says that there must be a verifiable. There must be a, note down first. There must be a objective evidence. Objective evidence. There must be an objective evidence of transaction of transactions which are capable of verification, which are capable of verification. Okay, what it means? What it means? Now, it means that whenever you sold goods or you purchase goods, you have the record of the same, proof. You have, when you purchase goods, you have the bill. When you paid salaries, when you paid rent, you have the vouchers. Means this is a documentary proof. Verifiable means documentary proof. This principle says that whenever you do any economic activity, any business transaction, you should have a proof of that. Because if you don't have the proof, how can we record in the books of account? To me, important part is verifiable objective principle means whenever we do any business transaction, whenever we go for any business transactions, when we perform any business activity, we have a documentary proof. Now, what is a documentary proof? A bill, a voucher. Okay, it's a documentary evidence because with the help of these documentary evidence, you got to know that how much goods you purchased during the day, how many goods you sold during the day, because you match all the vouchers and bills at the end of the day, and with the help of these vouchers and bills, you find out how much stock is left. Understand that? That means this principle says that, verifiable says that you must be an objective evidence of transaction. There must be an objective evidence of transaction which are capable for verification, which are capable for proof. It includes bill, it includes vouchers, whatever. But when you pay bill, you receive the documentary evidence, by how you pay the bill. Or sometimes when you NOC we say that, means you should have a documentary evidence. So that when you check the books of account, when you record the transaction in the books of account, you have a legal proof from what is the source from which you are recording. So this one is called verifiable objective principle. Now, you know that in this particular chapter, just wait. In this particular chapter, we learn about three assumptions and 11 accounting principles. 3 assumptions and 11 accounting principles. Now these assumptions and accounting principles are important because in next chapter we are doing accounting equations, the most important part. Now we discuss about the accounting equation slightly later. First we discuss about the one more part is left in that. Apart from 3 assumptions and 11 accounting principles, you heard the name. This is a verifiable objective principle. Now, important part is which I still left, basis of accounting. Basis of accounting. Now, accounting, what is basic accounting mean? Accounting depends on what? Now, this is an important part. Basis of accounting. Okay. This accounting has 2 bases. First one is accrual base, and next is we need shorter space, so we are writing over here only. Accrual base, and we have cash basis. Accrual base and cash basis. Now these are 2 forms of accounting. Now what is accrual base of accounting? Now accrual base means we have heard it as an accrual base of accounting, accrual concept. Both cash and credit transaction are recorded. This is an important part, accrual basis, because every business transaction follow that. Every company follow this accrual basis. Now I'm going to explain why this accrual base of accounting is important as compared to this cash basis of accounting. Now what is why? Understand term. Accrual base of accounting, it can both cash and credit transactions are recorded. It recorded both cash and credit transactions. Credit transactions. I hope you can able to see it. Should I write in a bigger mode? Okay. First time both cash and credit transaction recorded. But in cash basis, only cash transaction is recorded. Only cash transactions are entertained or recorded. The first thing you understand that, because in a business, depend on business to business, because not many times we have to sold goods on credit, we have to purchase goods on credit. This cash basis does not record the credit transaction, which is wrong, because in business we have lot many transactions which are on cash basis, which are on credit basis. The accrual says that record both the transaction because both the transaction affects business, but the cash basis says that only cash transaction can be recorded. Oh, the first thing clear? Okay. If the transaction is recording the both cash and credit, we get the correct picture of business. We say that correct profit and loss, right? Correct profit and loss. Correct profit and loss is ascertained. Means you can find the correct profit and loss. Okay? Is ascertained. Because with the help of, because when the transaction recorded both cash and credit transaction, then the chance of correct profit is ascertained. But in cash basis, we cannot get correct profit and losses. Correct profits and losses. Oh, this part is clear. We cannot get the correct profit and losses. Next part. Accrual basis. This basis is recognized by Companies Act. Companies Act, which is India, is 2013. This act, this accrual basis is recognized by all over the world. Especially India is recognized by Companies Act 2013. Means that all the companies are following this act or this level. That's why this is called Companies Act 2013. I hope it's clear. But this cash basis does not recognized by Companies Act. Companies Act. I mean, this act is not recognized by Companies Act 2013. Okay. Next part. Accrual basis accounting is more reliable. Is more reliable. Now, why is more reliable? To find out the actual profit and losses. This accrual basis is more reliable because we can find the exact profit and losses. The people, the accountants are more reliable on their part because they rely on the actual position. The accrual basis is more reliable because it records all the transactions, so it gives us the correct picture. It's less reliable, or we say not reliable. Not reliable because it records only the cash transactions. In business we do have many transactions. Now, one more part which you mentioned, because in accrual basis, outstanding expenses, outstanding and prepaid expenses are adjusted. Now, because accrual basis, we not pay salary yet, but we have to pay in future. That's why it's called outstanding. This or prepaid transaction, outstanding transaction are recorded or they adjusted on the accrual basis. But in cash basis, they say we cannot adjust because outstanding means we not pay yet, no cash involved. So that's why it's not adjusted. Outstanding expenses or the revenue, outstanding expenses or the prepaid expenses are not adjusted in the basis or in the cash basis. So I hope it's clear. So what is cash basis and accrual basis? There are two bases of accounting. Understand them. The first one is accrual basis, which is more reliable. This says that both cash and credit transactions are recorded. They record both cash and credit transactions. Transactions are recorded. Here in cash basis, only the cash transactions are recorded. Only cash transactions are recorded. On accrual basis, we find the correct profit and loss. We can find the correct profit and loss or actual profit and loss. Here, it cannot give you the correct profit and loss. Accrual basis is recognized by Companies Act 2013. It's by no recognition for cash basis because every company follows the accrual basis. Accrual basis is more reliable. Cash basis is not reliable at all. Outstanding expenses, those transactions of credit purchase or credit sale are recorded on accrual basis. But a cash basis accounting does not record this outstanding or prepaid things. So I hope this part is clear. What is cash basis accounting? There is a smaller portion, small topic left in this particular part. So I hope this is clear. What is the basis of accounting? Okay. Next part we are doing the first accounting practical things is accounting principle. So this one theory is like this only. This is a basic step for class 11. Is an important part because theoretical approach helps you to build a platform how you solve numericals. So guys, please prepare all these things, practice more and more. In case if you have any problem, please do write to me. Take care, stay at home, stay safe.